How fast can you really do everything in Frontierland? Let's find out. There is so much to see and do in Disney World, so it can be overwhelming trying to run back and forth to get it all done. That's why we've started taking it land by land to see how long it takes you to do each land in Magic Kingdom. And this time, we are headed to the wildest land in the wilderness. Because I'm doing things a little bit differently today. I'm not starting the timer or rope drop like I normally would for a how fast can you do everything in Tomorrowland or even Adventureland. This time, I am starting an hour after park opening. Typically, the park will open around 8 o'clock if they're having a party like Mickey's Not So Scary or a Very Merry Christmas Party. But I am here 1 hour later because the goal is to get everything done in the shortest amount of time. And some things in Frontierland actually don't even open until 11. I think we've got a good strategy, and it's a hot take.
Some bad hat, Harry.
The first hot take for the day is I don't think you need Genie Plus if you're going to only do Frontierland and this, you're going to see how quickly you can do Frontierland. Now, I am assuming if you're here, you're not just doing Frontierland if you're visiting the Magic Kingdom, but you never know. For the purposes of today's experiment, I actually, just to test things out, did not get Genie Plus because it is only a 30-minute wait, and I believe that wait is actually, because it's the beginning of the day, I believe that wait is actually probably a little bit shorter. Now, Genie is a part of your My Disney Experience app, and there are 3 different versions of Genie. The first version of Genie is the free Genie, that it's basically itinerary and suggested times to go ride things. Then there is the most popular Genie, which is Genie Plus, which is your date-based fee, pay to skip the lines here at Disney World. Now, it is date-based depending on how busy the parks are. We've seen it be anywhere from $15 to actually $35 on crazy busy days. And you're able to use Genie Plus for most attractions here at Disney World. And then there's the individual lightning lane, which is an additional fee on top of Genie Plus for you to purchase in order to ride those really big, popular attractions. Now, typically at the Magic Kingdom, I say Genie Plus is a necessity. That's not the case for every Disney World park. And in fact, we do Genie Plus challenges for all 4 of the parks to see which ones are more important for Genie Plus, which ones are less important. Magic Kingdom definitely important when it comes to Genie Plus. My timer started yet? Oh, I still got 1 more minute. But for the purposes of today, because I'm just doing Frontierland, and really there is actually only one attraction in Frontierland. There's a couple, but one I would consider a ride here in Frontierland because currently Splash Mountain is still being revamped. 10 o'clock and the time begins now. So Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a coaster attraction where you hop into a train and you go all through different canyons in an old a mine that's currently imploding on itself. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely one of those original Disney attractions that makes you go, oh, this is what reminds me of coming back to Disney. If you're looking on a thrill meter, I would say this is definitely a step up above Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This is absolutely wild. It said it was a 20-minute wait outside. It was maybe 7. Yeah, that was a fantastic experiment. Definitely not using Genie Plus. I don't need Genie Plus for anything else I'm doing in Frontierland. That'd be the only thing I could even use Genie Plus for. I opted to not go for it. It said it was a 20-minute wait. I only waited like 9 minutes or so. It was really, it was a successful experiment. And it's crazy how quickly they move through the trains and getting people on and off trains on Big Thunder Mountain. Granted, it is earlier in the morning, and that's a great time to get on some of the attractions that you want to do. But we got to go to our second location quickly. Second location. Okay, I am here in front of former Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain was a flume ride based on characters from Song of the South. Now, earlier this year, we said goodbye to Splash Mountain to make way for a brand new attraction that's coming to us. It's Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is based off of the Princess and the Frog movie. Now, we still don't have all the details, but what we do know is that this takes place right after the movie ends. This is a new chapter in Tiana's life. Yeah. As we know from the movie, Tiana has a love for food and cooking, and in the movie, she actually has the restaurant Tiana's Palace. Well, this is the next chapter in that life. now this is very cool. This is very exciting to have a Princess and the Frog attraction here at Disney World and soon to Disneyland as well. But I am very curious to see where the conflict is, where the thrill aspect of it is. I mean, yes, you're still going to have the same flume drop, but you know, I don't believe Dr. Facilier is in it. So are we just like, wow, look at all the vegetables, and then whee? I don't know how that intends on working, but I am hopeful, and you've piqued my interest. Moving on. We've still got about 35 minutes before Tom Sawyer Island opens up at 11. Also, some of the food establishments open up a little later as well. So for now, Big Al's is located right across from the Country Bear Jamboree. It's just a fun merch stand. This is where you can get, you know, in case you want a beverage like your Powerade Dasani water, you can grab your cooling fans, and as well as you can buy some signature Frontierland merch. This Frontierland churro cart image, that's kind of cool. Oh! Well, this Robin Hood hat, that's kind of cute too. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. On top of that, you can purchase Mickey ears, bubble wands, light up wands. In case you wanted to go all in on Frontierland and purchase one of these Davy Crockett hats, they're gonna run you about $20. Because I truly have no need for a Davy Crockett hat. The activity that was put on the list was to sing the Davy Crockett song. And I don't think I know the Davy Crockett song. I know, Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. I've got a raccoon. I put it on my head. Yeah. Also a rifle. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier. That's all I know. That's all I've got for you. We gotta move on. The Country Bear Jamboree, where you can have a wild and woolly good time. Now, the Country Bear Jamboree does take place in Grizzly Hall, and the shows do play continuous. Currently, there is a party today, so the shows only went from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but the doors are opening right now, so let's head inside. The Country Bear Jamboree is about a 10-minute animatronic show where bears are putting on their very own cabaret for you. Now, in D23, they did announce that the Country Bear Jamboree is going to get revamped with some Disney songs, which I'm not totally sure how I feel about that yet, which we can have a longer conversation about that when we're done. But for now, let's just enjoy.
Thank you, folks. Put your hands together for the Country Bear Jamboree.
Woo! Yeah.
Now, both be patient.
Yeah, we ain't going anywhere anyhow. We're kind of hung up here.
You might bear rocks. Big boys. Send the song on the field with a crooked Henry Bowl. And now, here's a special treat out of Tampa. Our own Trixie.
Cheers will be the chaser. Y'all come up and see sometime. You hear?
I think the Country Bear Jamboree is a surprise hit. I think it is undervalued and underestimated when you're watching it as a kid or even as a teenager. You're like, I feel like I'm at Chuck E. Cheese, and these animatronics, like it's that kind of old animatronic that you're just like, what's that? What really is happening here? But if you listen to the lyrics and listen to the words and think about the irony of it all and kind of like the old school humor, it is really I think it's funny, a lot of eye-rolling moments, and on top of that, a lot of the jokes have to go over the kids' heads for this to make sense. So it's a lot of fun. They are adding some Disney tunes to it, which I think will be controversial. I think people are going to be like, oh, we're making things Disney-fied. This is not okay, But in that same breath, I think we have to continue to always get better. Progress is important. Keep moving forward. So I'm excited to see what they do. They did announce all this at D23. Like, for example, they're going to do like a really interesting southern version of the Bear Necessities. I'll be interested to see what happens. Now our first snack. Let's go. This is Westward Ho Refreshments. They're actually available for breakfast and lunch. This is where you can get some jalapeno poppers, candy bacon. But you can also grab the crispy chicken, egg, and pepper jack sandwich. I've never had that before. So that is going to be my breakfast today. Westward Ho is your snack stand here in Frontierland that has some Frontierland specialties, which is why we're not covering that snack stand because it's just pretzels and churros. But we're gonna mess around with Westward Ho. So let's grab that crispy chicken egg and pepper jack biscuit. That sounds delightful. But you can also grab the powdered cinnamon sugar donut holes, which are one of Emma's favorites. I'm not gonna lie, it's a solid breakfast sandwich. It's buttery, pepper jack cheese. Don't shy away from it. It's not spicy. It has more of a peppery flavor as opposed to like any kind of spice. The chicken itself is crispy. The eggs are fine. It's a pretty big sandwich. It's definitely a thicker sandwich, a heartier breakfast, but repeatable. I'd get it again for sure. Well, it looks like it's finally about that time, and I'm shocked. It must be a pretty busy day today. I have never seen a line for Tom Sawyer Island like this. Anyway, we're headed to Tom Sawyer Island, which usually opens every day at 11 and closes around dusk. Or today it's closing at 5:30 specifically because they need to make sure they get everybody off the island before the park closes at 6 o'clock to make way for the party. But Tom Sawyer Island is an island dedicated to the stories of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, where you can explore caves, fortresses, and the wilderness. The only way you can even get to Tom Sawyer Island is by raft. So the raft is actually considered a small attraction. This is pretty wild. This is the longest I have waited in line to get on a raft to go to Tom Sawyer Island. Tom Sawyer Island is the hottest new club at Disney World, and everybody wants a part of it. This is not how I anticipated my day today. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely wild. So they just made another announcement saying, because the Liberty Bell riverboat just blew their horn, and because the Tom Sawyer Island rafts and the riverboat, because they share the water, they kind of have to be courteous about, who's crossing at one point. And when they blow that first whistle, they have to wait 3 to 5 minutes for the Liberty Bell riverboat to just like completely cross us. Yeah, no way, we're not gonna make it on this one. You know what, maybe we will. Oh my gosh. I made it. Now that we finally made it to Tom Sawyer Island, you can actually check out the Tom Sawyer Island Explorer map. And our goal is to do everything, because we're supposed to do everything in Frontierland. So let's see, we got all these. We got to work it out for us. We're gonna do our best here to do it in the least amount of time as possible. All right, Harper's Mill. Head on in here. There's an owl. Well, did that. And as I mentioned earlier, you're going to find a lot of homages to Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer. Obviously, this is where they had to paint the fence. And over here is a kind of like a sit-down area. Now, it actually used to be a quick service location called Aunt Polly's, where they served fried green tomatoes and other sorts of things. Breedlove is still very upset that it is not around. But, should we bring back Aunt Polly's? Let us know. But in the meantime, they do have some great, just relaxing sit-down areas. And the Barrel Bridge is still currently out of order. It's still down. It's actually been down for about 2 months now. So I don't know when it'll be back, but typically there's a bunch of barrels and you hop over and moving on. Now, as someone who comes here all the time, I love Tom Sawyer Island. It was underappreciated when I wasn't working here, but it is definitely a great place to get away from the crowds. I always find it to be a little bit serene. It's got lush greenery, tranquil waterfalls. Yes, was it a little busy on the way to get over here, but as you can see, I'm not around to anyone right now. And so it's definitely a way to get away from the crowds, to get some quiet for a second, and also to let the kids kind of just run wild, because it is an island, and there's no way that they can get off the island without getting on a raft. That's not me saying don't watch your kids, let them run wild. That's me saying there's a lot of fun things for kids to do to get out some of that energy. The other great thing about Tom Sawyer Island is that you actually get some really unique views of the Magic Kingdom. Just a really fun view of Big Thunder Mountain and the Haunted Mansion. All right, we're gonna head on over here to Fort Langhorne. They do have bathrooms in 2 different locations here on Tom Sawyer Island. I always feel like these animatronics are gonna turn around in any second and just do something weird. Anyway, sorry. The first location, the first restroom being where the raft dropped us off, and the second one being here in Fort Langhorne. You can actually climb up to the top here. Yeah, I think this is. Oh, actually, let's see if we can say hi to the Liberty Bell. Oh, look at that! That's kind of a cool perspective of the Liberty Bell. Hey! And then you can climb up here to this little gun, and it's just to make sure that no one penetrates the fort. Here's the other thing that I'll say is interesting is, like, do you hear that? Well, that was ours. What I mean to say is, you don't really hear a lot of talking, which it can actually make it a little eerie on Tom Sawyer Island. You have these like listen. It's an odd sound to not silence is an odd sound to hear at Disney World, which kind of amps up the situation when you start going into these caves. For example, our first cave, the escape tunnel. You're gonna find these caves all over Tom Sawyer Island. Now, each cave is reminiscent of a story from Tom Sawyer Island, but each cave has its own purpose. Oh, look at this! I always forget how close we are to the water. That does not look fun to swim in. Don't swim in the water, kids. One is an escape route, one is an old mine, and one is kind of like a mystery cave where it's wild. Little crooked bridge. Tom Sawyer Island isn't super accessible, so be aware if you're in a wheelchair, an ECV, or if you have difficulties with accessibility. Lots of stairs, lots of rough terrain. In fact, they will ask you to step off your ECV or your wheelchair if you're going to board the raft. But that is what they did to some of the passengers as I was boarding today. All right, this is Old Scratch's Mystery Mine. Shall we? I would say the reason this is a mystery is because everything at one point becomes a little slanted. You're not really quite sure which way is up, which way is down. One of the caves is closed today, but I think the last place I would like to show you before we get off the island is a great place that I think a quiet place for families to unwind a little bit. If you are a family who has packed food or needs a place to, like a picnic area to relax for a bit and eat lunch, there's a little playground up here, and right across the way there's a couple picnic benches. It's peaceful, it's away from everybody, and just a way to reset and rebalance. And of course, the only way to get off the island is the way we came, on a raft. We are back on the mainland. We do technically have one more attraction, and that is the Walt Disney World Railroad, but I think I'm gonna save that for the very last thing here in Frontierland. That way it can take us back to Main Street and back to my car. Let's head kind of close to Adventureland, and we're gonna hit up another snack stand, the Golden Oak Outpost. The Golden Oak Outpost is gonna be a snack stand so you can find all things golden. And when I say golden, I mean golden brown, like loaded chicken strips, fries, and of course, chili cheese fries. Now, Golden Oak Outpost is extremely hit or miss, specifically because of their specialty items, the loaded chicken strips and the chili cheese fries. Now, they definitely can get soggy really, really quickly. My last experience here at the Golden Oak Outpost, I was not thrilled. I had the chili cheese fries, and it definitely just like they were soggy. I mean, like I didn't have one crisp French fry, and I'm a fan of the crispiness. If I'm gonna eat a French fry, I don't want to eat wet noodles. You know what I mean? So today we're actually gonna bypass the food here at Golden Oak Outpost, and today we're gonna try their premium Minute Maid lemonade slushie. All right, and the official Minute Maid Premium Lemonade Slushie. I am not a huge lemonade person, so this is gonna go well. I wanted to try something different, and they said that this is definitely one of their top sellers there. They also have a sweet tea premium slushie as well, which is interesting. So we'll give it a shot. Very lemon forward. Yeah, so tart. Recently, I've come across different slushies here at Disney World, and the ice. There is some discrepancy about how well things are blended. For example, the Goofy Glaciers, I would say those aren't blended as well, which means the ice pieces are a little thicker. Over at Energy Bites, the watermelon and pina colada, the blend is a little finer, so they're much smaller ice pieces. This is reminiscent of a Goofy Glacier, but it's like a lemonade Goofy Glacier. So overall, fine for a lemonade, icy, but the Golden Oak Outpost has just not been hitting it for me lately, which is a bummer. But it is nice on a hot day. Fortunately, the day of filming, I don't think it's going to get above 80. This is amazing today. While we're drinking our slushie, we're gonna have some fun at the Frontierland Shootin' Arcade. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a shootin' arcade where you grab a fake little gun and you aim at targets and have some fun. It typically used to be a charged, a very, very small fee to play this, but now it is officially free play, which means you can just kind of do your own thing. Next up, the Frontier Trading Post. This is going to be your main merchandise location here in Frontierland. Now, if you look at the Magic Kingdom map, you'll see a little logo with like Disney pins next to it. This is going to be like your big pin trading store. And even on the top, you can see Frontierland Pin Trading. I'm not buying anything today, but the task on my list was to choose a pin for each of the AllEars cast members. So let's do that. You can find more than just pins here. You can find your magic bands, some bubble wands, of course your Powerade, some water, as well as rocks. All right, let's look for some pins. All right, starting off with Emma, I'm gonna get her this Kermit pin. Well, for obvious reasons, she has her little Kermit friend with her. Miguel one for Quincy, because she loves Coco. I'm gonna get this one for Fry Bucket, because that's me, and that's Fry Bucket on my back. Also, she loves Star Wars. I'm gonna get this one for Breedlove. Breedlove and I experienced the Moana Journey of Water together, and it reminds me of Breedlove. It was a good time. We had a great time previewing that. Of course, Powerline, that one's mine. This one is RJ. We always sing Lion King songs together because, Festival of the Lion King is one of our favorite shows on Disney property, and this reminds me of RJ, so this is for you. This one's for DFB Dustin, because it's just us sitting at a bar together in our old age. Dustin, it's us, man. And finally, DFB Cassie. She did a really cute Piglet bound last time. We did a world record video where we broke a bunch of Disney World records, and she was my Piglet to my Tigger. So this is you. I can't believe it. Our time is almost coming to an end here at Frontierland. You know what? I can believe it because surprisingly, I always forget how small Frontierland is in compared to other lands. The smallest land obviously being Liberty Square. But this is Picos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. See, that's where you're gonna feature fajitas, tacos, burgers, nachos, and churros. Now, Picos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe is a restaurant serving Mexican-inspired fare like burritos and fajitas. Mobile order is available, and it does get rather busy around lunchtime. But the reason I believe Picos Bill continues to be a popular location is because of the seating. It's indoors, and there's plenty of seating to be had, even a secret room, which I will show you in a moment. Now, I did order the taco trio, which is 3 flour tortillas served with your choice of seasoned ground beef, seasoned chicken, or pork carnitas served with lettuce and tomato. You can actually order one of each, or 2 of one and 1 of another one, or I got 1 of each, so that way I know which one I like the best and which one I'll probably not get again. It does come with Tostitos chunky salsa, as I mentioned earlier, lettuce and tomato, cheese, and sour cream. It's my first time getting this. I'm glad that it comes with sour cream. If not, I was going to ask for it. I think I'm one of those people who I don't believe you can have a taco without having sour cream. All right, that looks more appetizing. I put the sour cream on it, I put some cheese on it, I put the lettuce and tomato on it. We're gonna do the ground beef last because that looks the messiest, but let's try the pork carnitas first. Pork carnitas has a nice flavor. It has like a nice heat at the back of the throat, but in a good way, in a positive way, not in a negative way. That's why I love the sour cream, because the coolness of the sour cream kind of tones down the heat, and I think that's super important. And the pork carnitas, it's almost like a shredded pork, which means it's not chunky. They're like nice quality sizes of shreds of meat. So it's definitely hearty. I feel like this is gonna probably be my favorite. Next up, the chicken. I had a feeling this might be the case. The chicken, it's very bland. It has some good moisture to it. It's not super dry, which is fortunate. If I were at home, I'd end up just like lathering this with hot sauce just to give it some sort of flavor. Last one, ground beef. Oh my gosh, this is messy. So this is probably gonna be the truest flavor of a taco that you're gonna get, the ground beef. Because when they're making the ground beef, you can tell that that's when they put in the taco seasoning. There are some onions within the ground beef. My issue with the ground beef is, again, I like a thicker meat, a heartier meat. It's almost too finely ground, which means they're almost like, it's like crumbles of meat. It does have a nice flavor because there's a lot of taco seasoning. It's gonna be the truest form of a taco that you get, but I think the winner is the pork carnitas, and the one that I don't think I would get again, unless I had a bottle of hot sauce with me, would be the chicken. Before we head out of Picos Bill, let's talk about all the seating. There is lots of seating to be had here in Picos Bill. The thing that's funny about the seating here is that the seats are little stools and they're unreasonably short. Like, definitely, I feel like a small child. But there is a fun room all the way here in the back. It's all the way over here. Typically, it is actually being used today, but typically you can find this room empty. But these 2 rooms are available for you to eat for either Picos Bill or Tortuga Tavern. They're right across from each other because they're so close. Either way, you basically sneak over to Adventureland if there's not enough seats here at Picos Bill, but there should be. Now we're going to end our Frontierland experience with the Walt Disney World Railroad. The Walt Disney World Railroad is a train that takes you all the way around the park. It has 3 different stops. Those stops would be Main Street USA, here in Frontierland, and Fantasyland. While on the Walt Disney World Railroad, you get unique views of the Magic Kingdom, as well as a relaxing train ride. I mean, it's a double feature. Now we've made it to the front of the park because we made almost a full loop on the Walt Disney World Railroad, meaning we've done officially everything in Frontierland. I think starting at 10, because Tom Sawyer Island didn't open until 11, I think that was probably a smart strategy because I wasn't waiting around for Tom Sawyer Island to open like I was waiting for other things to open when I tried to do Adventureland as quickly as possible. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go see how quickly I can do everything in Fantasyland, because what a mess that was. Bye.